Okay. Hey, hi, hello. Good morning. Good afternoon, it's 1 p.m. It's morning. Alexandrine Codex. Minecraft. Minecraft. What do I want to talk about today? Fuck, I don't. I got on here because I, very actively don't want to talk to people right now about some specific things, i.e. like my finances. Really don't want to dig into that right now. How's the world doing today? Seems okay. You want to get out of that hole, bud? Please. For the love of God, mantra soar. 1, 2, 3. I was thinking about something earlier. Now it completely escapes me. Yesterday, I was rewatching the VOD to make sure everything, uploaded correctly and there weren't any audio issues or video issues or whatever. And at one point I'm like, I want to talk about attractiveness, and then got totally sidelined and never talked about attractiveness. I wanted to talk about it in the way that attractiveness, like the idea of an attractiveness scale is so weird. Like there being a linear scale implies, this is a thing especially like shitty teenagers do, like, what are you on a scale of 1 to 10? And by shitty teenagers, I mean men. Predominantly do this. The implication of a, 1 to 10 hotness scale is that there is a universally agreed upon, there's a universal consensus of what a hot person is, or what is sexy, what is attractive. That's strange to me. And, I mean, obviously it's very ignorant because there is no such thing. Our values about what attractive bodies look like, what attractive people act like, look like, perform like, etc. has changed so drastically over time. And across, cultural boundaries. Acting like there's a universal constant, or oh yeah, they're, 6 out of 9 because I gotta make a 69 joke. They're a solid 4. What does that mean? Or they're an 8. What does that mean? In comparison to what? Rather than describing specifically individually what we find attractive or admirable or sexy or beautiful about people, the conversation around attractiveness tends to be linear and directly competitive. We compare people to one another in a way that's really not all that nuanced and doesn't communicate very much. What brought this to mind yesterday was I was feeling bad about myself, and there was a thread, where somebody was like, just you know what, I'm starting a thread, just give me all of your safe for work lewds, as in sexy images. And I'm forgetting the phrasing exactly, but I was like, okay, yeah, I can engage with that. And then I did this thing where I start looking at images which may or may not exist, and being like, I'm not attractive. Because I was drawing a contrast between myself and the other people I saw there, some of who were conventionally attractive in ways that I'm not, some who weren't in ways that I am. But rather than focus on appreciating the ways that I am interesting or exceptional or outstanding or unique or noteworthy or beautiful, I focused instead on this unhealthy direct comparison that wasn't building me up. It was either building other people up or tearing other people down in relation to me, but not really healthily appreciating myself. And oh yeah, that started a whole fucking spiral of like self-image, inner anguish, I think, yesterday. It's frustrating. Like, obviously I've dated people who are like, oh yeah, you're very attractive or sexy or whatever. Now I'm like, cool. I accept that you are saying this to me, but I don't necessarily believe it to be true, and not in a you're lying to me way, but sometimes in a you're lying to me way, like you're just saying this to make me feel better kind of way is honestly the way I can receive those compliments and those affirmations. Or like, you don't know any better, or you're just saying that because you can't find someone more attractive. Like, there's a lot of very unhealthy ways that I process that sort of thing in. I feel like there's a lot of very important, very powerful work to be done in detangling this notion of attractiveness from a directly comparative, competitive lens, you know? And really a lot of things, to that extent, could benefit from a de-standardization. Standardization and regimentalization is something that's deeply appealing to us, because when we regiment things or control things or standardize things, it gives us a shared definition, shared interpretation, shared guideline of what we're talking about. And shared values are something that we can bond over, that we can form community over, that we can form identity with. But these regimentalized, standardized things can also really restrict us in what we're able or willing to look at as beautiful, or talk about as beautiful, or good, or healthy. Right? Like, you take, for instance, this example of neurotypical. There is not a single person who would be defined as neurotypical. There are people who are more neurotypical than others. There are people who are more physically able than others. But this what is it? Vitruvian man does not exist. This average representation of humanity does not exist. The person in bodily diagrams and health textbooks is not a person. It's an amalgamation of people. And so long as we are taught and raised to look at this non-person, as a guideline and a standard for what we should be, then, you know, we're really failing each other. We're really failing ourselves, and we're just laying the groundwork for some very problematic, deeply toxic worldviews and perspectives of self. To which, no, you can't just stream on an oversaturated category on a daily basis. Senor Codici Alejandro. Is that Codici, or is it still Codes? Codices? Haha, Black Game Go. Bonk. 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 It's true. It's really nice giving up on, like, I don't care if people watch. I mean, I care if people that I know watch, and like channel regulars. Those are nice to see and talk to, but I've quit giving a shit about, man, I really gotta turn those stream alerts back on. You know what? Why don't we do that right now? Why don't we do that right now? Because I've been saying like, oh god, we gotta turn those on for a fucking long time, and I just keep ignoring it. Alright, they're back on. They're back on. See how easy that was? Took all like 3 seconds. I don't do callouts. Even when people subscribe, I barely do callouts. Mostly like, oh hey, Kodesi, as in Sevilla. Okay, Kodisi. Neat. Yeah, so yesterday this idea of attractiveness was on my mind, but I never got into it. Today, not so much. Today, it's more been like... Today I've been wrestling more with what are the limits of patience? At what point are you being patient? At what point are you enabling people to take advantage of you? And there's no fine line on that, but specifically I've been thinking in the context of like, I had unemployment insurance benefits for 150 days. It has now been 158 days since they were rejected. 14 days ago, after a court hearing, 4 days prior to that, 3-4 days prior to that, a court found in my favor that my benefits should be restored, and retroactively, so I should not owe the state anything. The state should, once again, owe me the benefits that I paid into the system for. It's been 2 fucking weeks. I haven't gotten even a word of receipt of the court order from the unemployment office, from the employment security department. So I sent an email today being like, hey, did you get this? Did you get this court order? Like, you should have gotten this court order 2 weeks ago. I'm really not expecting back. Even in emails, they're like, we may take up to 30 days to respond. And, like, in reaching decisions regarding, my unemployment insurance claim, or anyone's claim, the current line is like, it can take up to 3 weeks. It's absurd. And I'm not the only person in this position. I recognize that the reason for this lapse is these agencies are underfunded, they're understaffed, and they're overworked. They're overtasked with an amount of work right now because of the ongoing economic collapse in the United States, and employment crisis, and pandemic crisis, and housing crisis, and et cetera, et cetera. You get it. The lack of meaningful, substantial action on my government's part, whatever. I get that the actual people working there are doing their best, and that bureaucracy sucks to work in, and that there's a lot of paperwork, and it takes a lot of time. I get it. But also, like, even an automated message being like, this blank form has been received and filed would help me out so much to set up a timetable for what are my finances like? Am I going to be able to pay this? Am I going to be able to pay that? Should I be worried about this? Should I think about that? And, you know, I've made it, like, months and months without losing my cool. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna Karen tomorrow. I'm gonna call in and be like, hi, what the fuck is going on? And I really don't want to. I really don't want to call in because nothing meaningful gets accomplished with phone calls. It just drags on for so long. I'm probably gonna get put on hold for like an hour at least. There's gonna be a whole rigmarole of like, oh, we don't really know, or I can't access that, or let me look that up, and people not having answers, and then being apologetic that they don't have answers, and not knowing who to go to find answers. I'm really expecting nothing at all to get accomplished by calling in tomorrow. But there's nothing I can do at this point besides calling in and getting the no answer that I'm expecting to get. I don't know, maybe I'll call in tomorrow and they'll be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I'll fix that immediately. That's best case scenario, right? But no, this is the second month in a row where I've being like, all right, I guess I'm fricked. If people want to bail me out, please feel free to. I'm not to the point. At the end of this week, I'll probably reach the point, if I'm still behind on rent, where I'm like, hey, I am actively asking for help now. I'm not there yet. I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start harassing government agencies, which, oh no, we're done digging in this tunnel, which won't respond to me and will ultimately prove meaningless. But you know, it's something. I don't want to dwell too much on that, though. I really don't want to dwell too much on that. I'm alive. I'm healthy enough. I can't, even if I can't pay any form of rent for the next February, March, 2 months, I can't be evicted. And probably, given that the pandemic isn't getting any better, in fact is starts sobbing into microphone. That moratorium, that eviction moratorium, is likely to be extended. I'm sorry we've been fucking you without lube, sir. Place your complaint in the list. You're on place for 7389838. You can expect to receive a callback by March 2nd, 2022. Yeah, that's about what I'm expecting at this point. And I'm not mad at the people who work there. It's not their fault. I'm mad at living in a liberal hellhole, neoliberal hellhole, where state funding is diverted to the military-industrial complex, to police forces, to bailouts for businesses, tax breaks for businesses, wealthy individuals, but not to people who need it, not to state agencies dedicated to helping people in need, or helping people get benefits of a system that they paid into. I'm frustrated with capitalism. Not with people, specifically. Not with these people, specifically. Not with these employees, not with these workers. With the policymakers, yeah. With the state apparatus, yeah. But I'm not, gonna call and lash out at people. That ain't me. I do not have that energy within me. It's been interesting. In the last, 4 days or so, I haven't seen a lot of people talking about bailout. Not bailout, sorry. Talking about stimulus or disaster relief funds. People have really stopped talking about that. Republicans in national government have said, oh, we can talk about it in March. It's just horrendous. It's horrendous how much they're just kicking it down the street, and trying not to talk about it. Even if I weren't personally affected by this, just the scope of people who are is horrifying. Horrifying how not just reluctant, but stubbornly antagonistic to the idea of meaningful action our elected government has been, and is. And it's not surprising. I definitely don't want to give the impression that I'm surprised by it, because I'm not. But it is dispiriting and depressing, and just a reminder of oh yeah, I do live in a capitalist hellscape where human lives don't mean anything. This is the future cyberpunk dystopia, except we don't have cybernetics, all we have is capitalism. It's the dystopia, it's the least cool dystopia. We don't have any of the cool shit, all we have is plague and crippling debt and capitalism and depression and record suicide and depression rates and never-ending wars in the Middle East and police violence and resurgence of fascism without any of the cool shit, without any new socialist revolutions yet. I mean, there are some very cool ongoing movements, very exciting ongoing movements. No flying cars, no cybernetics, no AI, no real AI. There's learning algorithms that can perform logical tasks or try and figure out what kind of ad to push on me, but not like cool, gonna usurp humanity kind of AI. And really, at this point, I think we have pretty definitively proved that we shouldn't be trusted with stewardship of this planet, and if we can create a more advanced form of intelligence, we probably should just hand over the reins. I think it's in everyone's benefit if we do so. I'm only barely joking about that. Only barely. All told, all this negative stuff I'm talking about, I'm not having a bad day. I'm really not having a bad day. I'm just accustomed to this at this point. I'm, you know, a little tired. Don't really have plans for the day. Have some friends there playing Warzone. I don't really want to hop into that. Will probably work out. I should do dishes. I should really do dishes today. Probably not happening. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am doing some food prep work right now. Some stuff is soaking. Not much to do. No AI dummy mommies yet. Well, you know, there's some programs that get awfully close. You know, there are AI dominatrix programs that go back to like the 90s. There's a fascinating history there. I don't think I need to get in much more detail than that. They were like call and response kind of text programs back in the late 90s. And they might go even further back than that. These are just ones that I'm aware of. And it's been like over a decade since I researched this. And even now with like the amount of people who use, for example, Dungeon AI for what more or less is sexting. And there's plenty of people trying to use extant AIs today for that sort of thing, and to pretty good degree of help, because they learn pretty good degree of quality, maybe? I don't know what I was trying to say there. But, yeah, because these algorithms learn through input and horny people interact with it, the more people who interact with it, the hornier it gets, and the better at being horny that it gets. And, like, hell yeah, this is good shit. God bless the Dungeon AI people for being like, this isn't, like, adventure game simulator. This is like playing a tabletop role-playing game, but with an AI as your DM. It's to help tell stories, and like people are like, yeah, I got some stories for you. Twitter does this thing where anytime anyone is horny on main, they get shamed for it. Why? Why are we fooling ourselves and trying to perpetuate some kind of puritanical worldview? All of us are horny, like, all the fucking time. There have been studies on an average day. The average person thinks about sex multiple times an hour. This is normal. This is normal stuff. And shaming people for it, or being like, bonk. Haha. Get out of here with that horny. Why? Why? Wait, that is such a weird trend. Just let people be horny. Just let them be horny. You don't have to, like, want to be around for it. That's okay. You can just be like, you know what? That's cool, dog. I'm gonna be over here. And I'm not going off on a rant about that because I've been called out. I am like very quietly, publicly horny. Not verbosely so. Not bonk, go to cuddle jail. Why? This... Honestly, it feels like... I'm just gonna spitball here. Is this a furry community offshoot thing? Because it sounds like it. It feels like it. It feels a lot like furry community kind of glomps on you, ooh-woo culture. Just saying, it feels like that to me. Is it? Is it not? Who can say? Probably some internet archivist somewhere. It's so weird. It's gotta be a, like, distinctly American meme, right? Because only Americans are that uncomfortable with their own sexuality that they go around policing other people's online on a forum where NSFW stuff is allowed. Going like, ooh, you're being horny. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Yeah, the Pope, for example, has liked, on Instagram, some very interesting model pictures. Dude, let him. That's between him and God. Premarital handholder glomps the rotting corpse of Stalin. Picking Stalin and not Lenin? Uh-oh, we got a tanky in here. Uh-oh, tanky. Yeah, it's just so fucking weird. It's so fucking weird. Of all the things to care about in the world, you care about people being thirsty. Find something more important to give a shit about. Find something more significant to be uncomfortable about. Because if you're really uncomfortable about people boning down, boy howdy, do I not want to hear from you. I do not give a shit about what you want from the world if that's one of your top priorities. Played communist, fuck, marry, kill to know how it goes. Mm-hmm. Marry Lenin, fuck Stalin, kill Trotsky! Okay, well, I guess I get it. Trotsky did change his ideology about every 3 weeks. And I can't blame someone for seeing the virility in that mustache and having thoughts that they just can't escape. Not for me, though. Come on, like, Rosa Luxemburg doesn't even get in there? Shame. Shame. Man, fuck, marry, kill. This is a terrible game to play with real people. This series is really taking on a strange life of its own. I sat down just being like, me play Minecraft. Me play Minecraft. Me bored. Me play Minecraft. Yes, me stream. Yeah, me stream. Me stream. Make content. Good content? Who can no care? Who can make content? Then people started coming in here being like, colonialism good, actually. I'm like, I can't believe we're having to have this conversation, but no, colonialism not good. And yesterday, me going off on what was basically a anti-nationalist bender. I mean, I'm here for it. I'm just surprised by it. Because I was really expecting this to just more or less replace the Let's Talk series, where I just talk at myself and no one pays attention. Because the goal of it isn't to seek attention, the goal of it is for me to use that as a tool to process thoughts and feelings and externalize them by talking instead of internalizing them. I mean, it's a little more nuanced than that, but that's basically the gist of it. Really, I'm not expecting engagement being like, debate me. I'm like, I don't really want to, but, you know, I'm here. I don't have much to go off on today. Nope. Have enough for another shovel. Like I said, there was a incident in Tacoma. It was Tacoma, not Kirkland. I couldn't remember which it was yesterday. Last night, where a police officer ran over people. Not protesters. No, if it was protesters, the police department would be like, they feared for their life. Instead, the Tacoma police were like... So this police car had gone to a street race, essentially, where people were just doing donuts at high speeds and nice cars. It's a thing. It's a thing, and it's relatively harmless. People don't even really get hurt at these things. They occasionally do, but it's relatively harmless in comparison to, like, I don't know, actual crime. So the police department roll up, and there's a lot of people around. The cop gets nervous, worrying that people are going to, quote, break the windows of their cop car, which should not have been there. And instead of reversing their car out of the crowd, the way they came in, where no one was behind them, they floored it through like 5 people, running over one. And the first 2 wheels went over the man. I'm sure they felt the bump bump, telltale of, oh, I've hit someone. The cop does not stop, they accelerate, and keep fucking going. Then, allegedly, the police officer stopped a few blocks away to report it. Buddy, that tempered glass can put up a hell of a beating. There was no scratch on the glass, as far as reporters could tell at the scene, and protesters could tell shortly after. It's just... Oh god, it's horrible. It's just horrible. They're gonna get away with it. They're gonna get away with it because they always get away with it. Because cops are not held to account in the United States. The police are above the rule of law in this country. And like, God forbid, had it been protesters, they would have justified the use of force as in like, oh, well, they were violent or rioting. A riot is basically whenever a cop wants to say that there's a riot, there was a riot. The legal distinction in a lot of states in the United States is so loose and flimsy that it can really just be whenever the fuck they decide they want to shoot you. Oh, more than 3 of you? That's a riot. I'm oversimplifying it a little, but only a little. Bonk go to manslaughter jail. No, police don't go to jail. They just get suspended with leave and then put on a hearing that takes about 6 to 12 months to go anywhere. At the hearing, they get all charges dismissed and returned to work. Justice system? What's that? Justice? Justice? No. We hire police to kill people and imprison people, and then make them... Get the fuck out of the hole. Get out of here. You motherfucker. I'll do it. Alright, you know, I'm glad we reached an understanding. I'm sorry that we had to escalate to a point of violence, but I'll do it again. Did I just break that with a pickaxe? I think I did. You know, these complaints about police brutality, police violence, police exceptionalism, etc., 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 in the United States are not new. But it is nice that they're at least getting public attention and outcry and frustration, though the lack of meaningful, like, legislative support for actually doing anything about it is quite dispiriting. No, not dispiriting. It's enraging. Yeah, that's a better word for it, Alex. It's enraging. Let's Talk, the series where I pee 3 times per video due to the background sound, rain sound effect. Oh. Well, that was making water sounds. There we go. Let's just... I can help. I can help with this. There we go. There we go. It's important to stay regular. Just a reminder, you know, take a drink, stay hydrated. It's piss time, baby! Alright, I don't actually want to listen to that. Oh no. Oh no. I accidentally clicked on the fucking wave button that you can't get rid of. I'm gonna have to close that later. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about earlier today. I'm like, I had some, like, angry politics thoughts today. What were they? What they were was I was thinking about how well the current climate reflects the current, like, climate in the United States specifically reflects how our state is willing and able to respond to the ongoing crises. I think it was kind of a godsend for the state that we had an attempted coup, because an attempted coup, our incarceral state, our militarized police state, knows how to respond to. That's easy. You just throw some troops at it, and then a bunch of them get COVID, and you act surprised about it. Then you throw cops at it, and a bunch of them end up being rioters, and then you act surprised about it. And then you hold, like, maybe 1 or 2 token politicians accountable. We'll see if that happens. But then, you know, act surprised about it. All the while, record numbers of Americans are being forced out of their homes, can't make rent, and are, you know, dying at a rate not seen for over a century. And then act surprised about it. But don't get people money to stay home. Don't come up with any... Don't even institute temporarily, for the duration of the pandemic, healthcare for all. Just nothing. Instead, just respond by, don't worry, we're sending bad men to prison. We caught the bad men. Okay, cool. How about, that stimulus? How about, yeah, some money? Food? Shelter? Nah, no, bad man go to jail. It really is perfect, because this is a crisis that the state knows how to deal with. Oh, I can deal with this with brute force, and I can use this to justify increased police spending, increased defense spending, increased rates of incarceration, and police violence. Boy howdy. Thank you for the coup, Mr. Fascist Man. I'm not saying that no action should be taken, or that individuals shouldn't be held to account, or shouldn't be held accountable. They should. But you can do 2 things at once, right? You can do that, you can have hearings, while also going, I'm putting in an emergency executive order to give people money out of FEMA funds. That should have been done a long time ago. People are being forced out of their homes. People are having trouble feeding themselves and their children. Maybe we should do something about that, huh? Instead of just being like, it's bad, and I know times are tough, so here's $600 that we might eventually, in a couple months, increase to $2,000. But, you know, we'll really have to talk about it. You fucking kidding me? Yep. What's going to be terrifying is seeing how this incident will be used as justification for years, probably decades to come, for increased defense spending, increased police budgets, violence against protesters, specifically violence against leftists and people of color, whom the police of the United States were already well accustomed to subjugating to violence. In fact, you don't even have to have much of an imagination about this. You can look at the protests that have happened in Portland and Seattle and the surrounding areas, as well as in other cities such as New York, in response to Joe Biden's inactivity on immediate funds, on not immediately releasing people from ICE detention, from, etc., etc., etc. The media has begun, the corporate media, naturally, in the United States, has begun characterizing all protests as possibly being related to fascists and the alt-right. And trying to use that to delegitimize these movements that have been going on for the better part of a year, whose point of protest has gone on unanswered, both by the past administration and now by the new administration. And these protests should rightfully continue until the new administration takes action. And it probably won't take action, so until action is somehow manifested. Okay, Alex, but consider, why do things when you cannot do things and let people die? You got a great point. You know what? I'm wrong. With capitalism, good. Joe Biden, best president. Let's keep doing nothing. It's worked out well enough so far. Why stop now? Alex, he's only been president for a couple of days. I don't give a shit. Day one, could have reunited families and removed them from ICE detention centers. Instead, policies are being written up to reform ICE detention centers rather than end them. So the people aren't going free. We are going to keep people in camps in this country as a matter of policy. As a matter of written policy now. Not as a temporary measure. Not as a, we are transitioning away from this, it's just not happening. Guantanamo Bay, still not closed. Like, all of these easy things to immediately, within his power as the executive of the state, be able to do, just not doing them. It's just, not a good time for it. Gotta talk about unity. Fuck unity. Bernie Sanders is the one actually spearheading efforts to make it so that Republican votes aren't needed to pass these things in order to pass them in relatively quick succession. So I'm gonna go out on a line and preemptively say anything good Americans get out of the next 2 years is probably thanks to Chairman Sanders. Just gonna go out on a limb and say it. I would love to be proven wrong. Don't get me wrong, I would love for Joe Biden to be a secret sleeper socialist who's taken the entirety of his adult life to activate. But it's not gonna fucking happen. He's not a socialist. He's a centrist. He's center of right, even. He's not gonna do a goddamn thing for this country that he isn't doing out of very calculated effort to make himself look better or offset public dissatisfaction. He's gonna do the bare fucking minimum. Ugh. Yeah. Oh no, Alex, we're on the latter half. We only have 15 minutes left. Buddy, typically at this point you're trying to put a positive spin on things. Oh, I know. I'm not doing it today very well. Nothing crazy has happened today, right? Today hasn't gotten fucked up yet. I'm drinking peppermint tea, which is quite nice. Been thinking about readjusting my diet again, both to cut costs, though it's hard to cut costs when you're living on rice and beans, but to introduce maybe some more variety to my diet, make sure I'm actually getting everything I need, and that's always a fun, like, yearly or every 6 months mental exercise to recalculate my diet. That's kind of a cool, vaguely interesting thing I'm doing, but I've done it so many times before and I've walked through how I've done it. I'm not gonna do that again. I don't know. I don't feel that bad. I don't feel that good. And maybe that's okay for today. Is it good enough? No, fuck no, but... I got nothing. I got nothing. If you can, help people out. It doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to give hundreds of dollars. You don't have to give thousands of dollars. But in these times that we're in, particularly if you live in the United States, you know, act within your own local community. If you can't afford to give money to people fighting for democracy or against police brutality, if you can help give money to your neighbors who are struggling with rent, bills, with food, for fuck's sake, highly encourage you to do so. I'm not just saying this because I'm in a position where I'm asking people in my community for help. Well, no, I'm about to start asking people in my community for help. Nope. I've been towing this party line all fucking year. And back when I was making money, even through unemployment, I was giving hundreds of dollars a month to bail projects, to Black Lives Matter, to local black-owned businesses, to socialist organizations. Burp. It is remarkable. The amount of charitable giving by share of income is huge amongst the lower class. Once you start getting higher and higher tiers into higher income brackets, the amount that they give based on the amount that they have is insultingly low. Sure, by total amount, they can give out millions and billions at a time, but in comparison how much they're holding in reserve and not giving away, it is a mere pittance. A mere pittance. Yeah. So I got like 12 minutes. We go in here, we drop stuff off. I mean, I can go over an hour, right? This series hasn't been like built on an hourly basis, but I'm kind of liking the vibe of like hopping in for an hour, playing, getting up, doing something else. I mean, if health authorities are to be believed, you should get up and stretch about every 20 minutes. You should get up and move, not just stretch. Every 20 fucking minutes or so, not just once an hour. So even by the kind of like, I'm gonna stream for an hour and then go stretch and do something else, I'm still living a sedentary lifestyle. Listen, I moved a little, what more do you want from me? Move more? I don't wanna. Oh, God. You know, people joke a lot about setting up an OnlyFans account. I wouldn't really be opposed to it. I just, like, I'm a good photographer. So I hate most of the photos that I take. Oh, hey, buddy. I'm like, that's a weird-looking villager. Sure is, Alex. Sure is a weird-looking villager. I'm a good photographer. So I'm very self-conscious about, like, wow, my equipment kind of blows, and my lighting isn't that great, and I want to be able to take photos this way, and I can't. I do this way, and I can't. And so taking... Like, I don't think I could do that in good faith, because I wouldn't feel particularly attractive. One, because, you know, I, like so many other people, have a lot of self-image issues, confidence issues. But also, it's just like an equipment thing. Like, oh, if I'm gonna do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Even with streaming, right? I don't do this for money. But I still want to do it with a degree of professionalism. Like, if I'm gonna do something, I want to do it right, and I want to do it well. So even if that thing is, highly lewd activity, I'd want to do it well. I'd want to do it well, and I'd be, like, insanely, especially self-conscious if I were creating something and could point out technical faults with it. But the thing is, there are so many people who are wildly successful creating media that's technically flawed or amateurish, but succeed and gain an audience, gain a following, gain success through, you know, other ways of appeal. Other kinds of appeal, I should say. And there are people who have incredible degrees of technical expertise and skill who never reach much of a following, who never really connect with or resonate or attract people. I don't know, it's something I've been thinking about. Mostly because I follow a lot of people on social media who, like, do engage with that kind of sex work in a very, like, nonchalant, low-key kind of way. And I'm like, that's very admirable. That's very cool. I wouldn't be getting into it like, me want money. Just like, this is a thing of me that I could share, and I'd be comfortable sharing in certain ways, but it's also something that I've, like, not talked about on social media because my fucking parents follow me on every goddamn social media platform. And yes, I'm a grown-ass adult, but still having my parents and grandparents follow me on social media is like, man, I don't really want to talk about sex on here, or, like, my relationship to sex, or sex work, or pornography, or, like, me engaging in the creation or production or consumption of any of those things while you're around. Like, it's just a little weird. I don't have that sort of relationship with my family, particularly my extended family. And so the natural solution is, well, Alex, you can just create, like, you know, an alt account. No, I do not do alt accounts. I want to either be at the point where I'm comfortable enough owning it, or I don't do it at all. I'm that kind of ideological purist. Like, some people have work accounts for Twitter and Facebook and everything else so that they can post their socialist unionist memes where Big Daddy employer won't find them. And then you have me, who posts everything on one. And honestly, I think that's, if I go about it the way I will go about it. But I don't know. I have a couple people who are privy to that kind of material that I produce, who could be like, I like this, or I like this, you should share this, you should share that. I could potentially talk to them about helping me with this sort of thing. But, like, yeah, tell Granny to sub to your OnlyFans. That's, you know, I'd rather they just, you know, sub on Twitch. They're gonna sub on anything. My family is generally quite supportive, but that's a weird space to be in, right? OnlyFans at that point, yeah. And you gotta pay extra for OnlyFans, because I'm pretty sure that content is very illegal. Isn't that weird? Isn't it strange that incest pornography is verboten, but step-sibling or step-parent incest completely normalized? Like, okay, we get what you're trying to produce here, right? We get what this is. This is an open secret. Why are we keeping it an open secret? Why not just, like, own it for what it is? This is a very weird tirade, but this ties into kind of this overarching theme for today where I've been bitching about Puritanism in the United States. Like, why is that technicality what matters? What are you doing, Step Streamer? There are a remarkable number of streamer personalities, I'm not naming names, who have OnlyFans accounts on the side because some audiences on Twitch can be very, very thirsty. Gamer girl bathwater, etc. And you know what? Good for them. Good for them. Hell yeah. You capitalize on the horniness of your audience. But Twitch actively punishes and lashes out against people who do that. Why? Why? Because Twitch doesn't want any association, direct association, with sex work. But it still doesn't take meaningful action in moderating communities on its website that engage in, like, horrifying acts of, like, targeted, sexualized verbal assault, harassment, etc., that engage in stalking and doxing. They just ignore those communities pretty much wholesale. God, I guess the TLDR of today is just that I am very frustrated with a lot of puritanical attitudes surrounding sex in the United States, and particularly the ways that it intersects with corporate culture. Both for, you know, personal reasons and for just, like, existential reasons. Okay, I think I want to have it intersect here, and I think I want the rest of this to go to hell. Yeah. Means this stair's gonna have to be moved back. We're almost at an hour, so I think I am gonna wrap up at an hour. This has been a wild one. Socialism, good. Sex work, good. Corporations, typically bad. Bureaucracy, frustrating. Horny on main, very okay. Bonk memes, dumb. Internalized puritanical values are, weirdly backward. What else did we hit on today? Alex has some secret, okay, I've joked about this before, but seriously, there is porn of me on the internet, if you know where to look. And I'm not helping you look. Like, hell, some of these places I don't even remember that I'm on, but I'm on. And, like, happened for a pretty substantially long time. I think a lot of destigmatizing sex work comes from just being like, oh yeah, I do that, or have done that, and being in communities where it's normalized. Oh god, we still got a lot of work to do. Oh, that's okay. Got some stuff done today. Paved some more paths, dug some more holes, mined some more crafts, crafted some more mines, talked about some politics, some mature subjects. Oh, didn't mean to do that. What? There you go. And now what am I up to? I will get up. I will stretch my legs. I will maybe go on a short walk. There's some tempting stuff. God, I miss clicking left and right. I'll probably check in and see what people are playing. Maybe play some stuff with other people, but I'm not really feeling like Warzone that strongly. And that's probably the the name of the game for today. And I'll probably end up watching some fucking stream and getting sidelined with something I didn't even think about in the first place. It's very important in life to set reasonable expectations for yourself. Know thyself. To thine own self be true. Because seriously, if I were like, yeah, I know we're over an hour, but shh, this will be our little secret. It's cramp time. We getting them cramps. When talking about routine, when talking about models of behavior, what's good, what's not good, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, all of those should be self-informed. Right? Based on you know yourself better than anyone else. And at the end of the day, at the end of your life, ultimately you're only accountable to yourself. Because seriously, when you're on your deathbed, you're it, brother. Other people may have feelings about your accountability to them, but you're ever only going to have to live with your own conscience. So try as much as possible to kill externalized pressure. Find ways to motivate yourself to do things that you know are good, or that you're supposed to do, but from a healthy way, from a self-actualizing way, not from a guilt-ridden, stress-ridden way. There we go, we worked our way to a positive subject. We ended on a vaguely positive note. Holy shit, we did it. We did it. And like the 45-minute mark, I'm like, there's no way I'm doing this. This has been so negative. I'm so frustrated with everything happening right now. But we did it. Oh yeah, there. Wave pulled up. I just love that Microsoft is like, haha, you want Microsoft Edge? And I'm like, no, unpin this from taskbar. And then it's like, we're gonna give you an update. You want Microsoft Edge? No, I never want it. There's only one kind of Edge I want in my life, and we're not gonna talk about that. So yeah, we're gonna wrap up here. What fucking day is today? Sunday? There'll probably be, knowing me, I'm probably gonna get back on here later tonight for another hour of this, probably right before bed. When will that be? I have no idea. Wednesday I'll probably play a little Dishonored. Suzerain, I'm working the will together, the emotional fortitude to get back to that. Beyond that, who knows? So if you're watching on YouTube, this is it for today. So until tomorrow, I'm going to say a toodaloo. A take care. I'll see ya then. Goodbye. Bye.